Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio working away at the work week. So, Cardinals working hard in their homestand against the Dodgers right now. They had a big Sunday. Did they have a big Monday?
Did not. Go on the road, and the Cardinals knew the road would be tough. Go to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not as good as the Cardinals are, but they're a young and improving team, and the Reds won in 10 innings by a score of 6-5 on a sacrifice fly. It's not that the Cardinals didn't have their chances. Reds had the lead 5-4. Cardinals tied it up in the 8th inning, had a chance in the 9th, had a chance in the 10th. Couldn't push that run across, and Cincinnati gets the win. You're not going to win them all. Cardinals know that. And as we discussed yesterday, Mike, baseball's a game of rhythm, and the Cardinals have been on such a torrid pace. They're going to cool off. Now, it won't be anywhere near as serious as the cooling off in April. In fact, that was downright cold. But the Cardinals won't continue to win all season long. They will have a good record, and I think they'll probably challenge for the National League Central Championship. But as far as winning them all and going undefeated, it ain't going to happen, folks, and it didn't last night.
All we want is consistency, St. Louis. Don't give us an April again, please. We don't expect it to be this hot in May all the time. So just a little bit more pitching, consistent bats. That's all we can ask for. Come on, is that much? Is that too much, Ned? Is that too much? Is that too much to ask for? Also, pretty sad note in the sports world today.
Yeah, this is really sad, especially in our profession. But for the state of Missouri, Rick Hummel, who is known as the commish up at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, passed from the scene yesterday at the age of 77. One of the great baseball writers in the country, as a matter of fact, was inducted into the writers' sector of the Baseball Hall of Fame at Cooperstown several years ago. And Mr. Hummel, who retired last year, 2022, passes away yesterday from what was called a very aggressive sudden illness. Well, Rick Hummel, folks, was one of the best baseball writers. He and Bob Nightingale, in my opinion, are the best. Bob's on a national scale, and Rick, over 50 years covering the St. Louis Cardinals. Principally, he did write other sports as well, but he was a magnificent writer, really good guy, very astute, and they called him the commish because he was he was the commissioner of this kind of intrafraternal baseball, fantasy baseball league that they have among writers. He was the commissioner of that and very highly regarded. That's a very sad story. Rick Hummel leaving us at the age of 77.
I can't even imagine what it would be like to play in a fantasy baseball league with baseball writers.
They know it all, believe me.
What fun would that be? It'd be like playing a one-on-one basketball game with Jordan. Like, that's not going to be any fun for me. I mean, unless he signs something for me afterwards. So we already talked about the Cardinals not getting the dub. What about the Royals?
They didn't either. Royals and the Detroit Tigers playing up at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, and Detroit wins with 3 runs in the 10th inning. Game was 5-5 going into the 10th. Detroit pushed across 3 runs. Matt Vierling, who's really playing well for the Tigers, he's a former Philly kid from the St. Louis area, had 4 RBIs in this game for Detroit. Detroit's getting a lot better. They've been a weak sister for a number of years in the Major League scene, but they're getting better. They have some young talent and knock off the Royals by a score of 8-5. So not a good night for the Missouri teams at all.
So we talked a little bit about the Missouri baseball teams not having such a good day yesterday, but we did have high school baseball teams. Maybe that's some good news.
We did indeed, and for the smaller schools, it's the sectional round. Now, the larger schools don't have a sectional round. That's because there are fewer schools involved in the larger classifications. So last night down in Branson, Glendale and Willard played a district championship game. Final district on the whole schedule. It was postponed from Friday because of rain, and of course the district was held in Branson, so that's where they had to play it. Glendale and Willard. And Drew Wedgeworth, who is a junior for the Glendale team, threw a no-hitter at Willard, and that's pretty doggone good. Sebastian Norman, a sophomore kid who is a future big-time baseball player, hit a 2-run homer. Glendale 2, Willard nothing. Glendale advances now to the state quarterfinals later this week, and they will play St. Francis Borgia. Now, in sectional playoffs, and this is a great story, I think, in Class 1, Springfield Greenwood is only in its second year of varsity baseball. That's all. Second year, and they have very few players to choose from. But they went down to Oak Ridge, which is down by Cape Girardeau, down in your area. It's a very small town. And Greenwood beat them 12-5. Greenwood goes to the state quarterfinals later this week. in only their second year of varsity baseball. Liberal defeated Billings 4-3. Wablo and St. Elizabeth up north of here. St. Elizabeth won 16-1. And in Class 2, and what was a dandy, the Ash Grove Pirates 13, Marionville nothing. Those winners all advancing to the quarterfinals later this week.
Well, it sounds like someone had a good day yesterday. All right. Also, though, Lakers finally had to get a dub against Denver.
They didn't. They did not get it. Led much of the game, but I'll tell you, the Denver Nuggets are an awfully good basketball team, and they have the catalyst in the center. Big old Nikola Jokic, who is one hell of a player. He broke Wilt Chamberlain's record last night for numbers of triples-doubles in a playoff game. Prior to that, Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 7 triple-doubles. Well, last night Jokic got his 8th triple-double, had 30 points, bunch of rebounds. I think it was 20-some rebounds and 13 assists. And it was enough, and the Denver Nuggets held off the Los Angeles Lakers 113-111. LeBron James had 40 points in this game, but you know, Mike, I've got watching these games, I have to wonder what is a foul and what's not a foul in the NBA. LeBron James goes into the lane last night in the final seconds of the game. He's going to take the final shot. Who else is going to take it? Of course you're going to give it to LeBron James. He goes in. He is triple teamed. There are guys all over him. One's holding his wrist, another's beating him in the chest and all that, and throws up a shot that's nowhere near good enough. No whistles. I said, my goodness sake, what is this? Anyway, 113-111. Denver Nuggets are a better team than Los Angeles, and they have a week off now. They'll win the series 4-0. They'll play the winner of the Miami Heat Boston Celtics series, and the Heat leads that one 3-0. They play tonight. Both those teams could have 1 week off before the NBA World Championship Series starts.
Man, that foul, though, or lack thereof, when they let him play, I like it, but there wasn't a whole lot of just consistent calling in that game.
There's one point where Jokic is 7 feet tall, probably about 285. He's a great big kid from Serbia, and he is a hell of a player, a tremendous player. He goes charging toward the basket, and he gets belted in the jaw by one guy, gets hit in the guts by another one, makes the basket, no whistles. My goodness sake, what is this, football? The Chiefs don't play this rough.
It made for an exciting game, though, to say the least. All right, so we're also getting closer and closer to a Stanley Cup final, aren't we?
We are indeed, and this is, if there's ever a paradox, this is it. The Florida Panthers took the home ice. Now think about that. They're playing on their home ice in Miami. Miami is one of the great winter sports capitals of the world. Anyway, the Florida Panthers, who are a former champion, defeated the Carolina Panthers by a score of 1-0 last night, and Florida leads that series 3-0. One more win, and they are into the Stanley Cup Finals against the winner of the Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars. They play tonight, and the Golden Knights lead that series 2-0.
Exciting stuff, Ned. You have a great Tuesday, and I will see you on Wednesday.